Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. Trying to get my damn chair straight. Trying to get my chair straight. How's it going, guys? Welcome to Massive Iron Live. If we can just calm down for a second. How's everybody going? It's Friday, February 23rd. The last Friday of February. And then we're going to hit March and maybe we have some hope of spring here in America. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the longest running live Q&A in the history of the lifting universe, and that's my story, and I'm making it up, but if I make it up, it's true. It's 2024, right? We can make up anything. We can live in our own self-created video game and do whatever we want. Call it freedom, one part freedom and one part stupidity. Right? How's everybody going? I appreciate you joining me. If you're new here, please post up your questions. I'm here to answer your questions. Don't be shy. There's no such thing as a dumb question, just stupid questions and awkward questions. Just kidding. But I'm here to help. Don't feel like a question has been asked a million times before and you can't ask it. Okay? I don't play that game. I'm here to help you. So before we get started, a couple of things. If your question doesn't go through, try rewording it. Or sometimes YouTube doesn't like certain words, right? It might filter you. That's not me. Let's see. And try shortening it. Sometimes if it's too long, it doesn't go through. And if you guys are tuning in late and you need a question answered, you can head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM, right? And ask the questions. I answer every question in my DM, 100%. And I'm not going to pressure you, no sales techniques, nothing like that. Speaking of sales techniques, let's do a sales pitch. Not really. I coach for a living. And if you guys are interested in coaching, let me know. I was 2023's Coach of the Year, online Coach of the Year, and not by some little website. This was by the largest coaching app in the industry, Trainerize. 400,000 people. Somehow, big, hairy, ugly dude made it to the top. But I'll tell you what, I work my ass off. I work about 70 hours a week on everything, mostly client work. I care about your guys' results. I don't just tune in once a week via email and give you some general spiel. I'm there with you every single day making adjustments. They're going to have form videos, all that kind of crap. All right. So if you're interested in help, and we'll get into your questions in just a second, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. Follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman and teammassiveiron.com. Please join teammassiveiron.com. It is a great way to stay connected. You can get form checks. We do topics of the day. You can get some help, some support, and you can reach me directly. So if you're struggling at all, I keep the gateway fee very, very low on Team Massive. So you can come in as a one-time fee, or you can pay a very small monthly fee. And I put the small monthly fee in there not to make money. To be honest, the money that comes in on Team Massive pays for the service itself. Being transparent, I pay $119 a month to have Team Massive Iron Up. It contains all my workouts and my PDFs and all that kind of stuff. And the folks that are on Team Massive that join, your money actually pays for it to stay up. So come join Team Massive if you're tired of the Facebook or you need some extra motivation. All right, let's get into stuff, shall we? Before we do, I'm actually absolutely crushing my training. I am 3 weeks into my new program. And I put it up on Instagram recently. If you want to check that out, you can check it out. But it is the hardest program of my life. I wanted to do something that really challenged me. And training is going really well. Yesterday, I had what's called a death day. So why do I call it a death day? Because if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. I alternate A and B death weeks. Last night was squats for what do I have? Rep goal, maybe rep goal. And then I did good mornings, powerlifting style good mornings. And then I did hex bar deadlifts. So that's what I started off with, and then power shrugs and captains of crush gripper. On my other week for death week, I start off with deadlifts, do stiff leg deadlifts, not Romanian deadlifts. And then I do squats as well. All right. All you pink question. I can't wait for the pink questions. Really, I can't. Let's get into things. Rico, how's it? I wish this little box was smaller, because sometimes when we get these big things, I'm like, can you see me? Can you see me? Okay. There's no way to shrink this stuff, and it aggravates me. Rico, what's going on, Rico? Good morning. Big Tim. Tim is my secret son. How's it going? Happy Friday. Any plans for the weekend? I'm going to work on my book. I'm doing really well on my book. I got the first 2 chapters done. We're almost at about 10,000 words done. So I feel like I'm finally gaining some steam on that. It's going to end up being about 200,000 words. So it's going to end up being about 3 volumes. It could end up being about 4 volumes. I'm not sure I want to put it in one big hardcover, because that would be silly, right? But it's going to be a bigger book, and I'm really making some good headway on that. I'm going to work on that a little bit. I'm going to watch the FC Cincinnati game on Sunday. My wife has 2 photo shoots this weekend, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. My wife is, when she's not doing her seamstress work, she does wedding dress and prom dress alterations, that sort of stuff, and costume design. My wife is a model. She does a lot of photo shoots. She's had like 15 covers now. That sort of stuff, right? So that's what I'll be doing. Big Tim, would you bother managing body weight given my circumstances? No, there's periods in life where Tim's in the military, basic training, whatever they call it in your country. I don't mean to offend or whatever, but I'm not certain what you guys refer to that. But just eat what you can. Your weight is down, and don't worry about it. Just do what you can, fight the battles you can win, and don't over obsess. You've lost a little bit of weight. When you come out of that and you can lift a little bit normally, it will be all good. Barbell Bryce, morning team massive. Thank you for everything. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. And Big Drew, serious question face, but it's kind of funny. Would you do shrugs or some of the shoulder lifts? When you do shrugs or some of the shoulder lifts, does your upper lip curl? Not that I'm aware of, but I've never had anybody I haven't really looked at it I don't think so. I'm very weird when I lift, that I have really meticulous breathing patterns. You can check out my latest Instagram post where I have the what did I put up this week? Was it incline bench or no, guillotine press? And I have very meticulous breathing patterns. It's just something I've developed over the years. So that's my kind of weird thing. And yeah, it's probably you. You're just probably doing the old Elvis Presley. Ivana, good morning. What's going on? And Stein, happy Friday. Big Justin Jones. Good morning, big hairy ugly dude. Are stimulant-free pre-workouts worth it? Okay, I'm going to say yes and no. And hear me out. Number one, there are some ingredients that can have benefits. Obviously, creatine. But creatine should be taken daily for the true benefit, 5 grams a day. Pixie dusting a little bit into a pre-workout doesn't do much, let's be real. So there are some ingredients on their own that can have scientifically proven slight advantages. A lot of these pre-workouts, stim-free pre-workouts are more designed for pump and focus. There's nothing, would I pay for that? Not really. I personally wouldn't, right? But so I would not personally advocate spending the money on. With that said, we're all adults. If you want to play around and see if it provides a little bit of benefit, go right ahead. Every product's different. You might just feel like some of it is just bringing up your focus levels. If so, let it rip, right? The body's a unique mechanism. We don't always know how things are going to impact us individually. So I wouldn't rush out to get one, but if you're trying one, you're curious, you've read some reviews, you like it, just let it rip. Not sure if you can answer this, but how to get enough protein for breakfast at a restaurant? Eggs, and eggs. Most restaurants have turkey bacon as well. You can have regular bacon. I mean, what I do, if I'm going out to eat for breakfast, unless you're in a cut, I just do sausages and bacon and eggs and, all that kind of stuff. Eggs are really the key. I don't really like to do omelets because omelets usually are a lot higher calorie. You don't know what they're stuffing in there. I would rather do over easy eggs. What I usually do is get 3 or 4 over easy eggs. That way I have 20 to 25 grams of protein, and then I'll just get my meats and my fruits. I'm not a carby Barbie when it comes to breakfast food. I just don't like the feeling. It makes me sleepy. And quite honestly, most carb foods, yeah, you can have something now and then, but bagels, pancakes, biscuits, breakfast cereal, right? Give me the meat. You know what I'm saying? That's me. I don't like carbs. I'm not going to eat donuts or toast. I might have a piece of toast with a lot of extra butter to sop up that good love from the over easy egg. I'm not like a never eat carby Barbie type of guy, but if I want to stuff my belly for breakfast, I'm going in all meat. Big Mike M, if you consistently eat the same meals every week, is it normal to feel like garbage? Yeah, absolutely. When I go through long periods of time where I'm eating the same stuff, your gut microbiome will acclimate, and that's a good thing. It'll become more efficient. If you're just throwing everything in your mouth like a trash can, your gut microbiome has to adjust. And that's a dumbed down way of putting it, but it's accurate. Whatever you put in your body, however you treat your body has to adjust, and your gut microbiome isn't any different. And when it kind of stabilizes, and then you eat some crap and your stomach feels like crap and you want to blow out or whatever, that's absolutely normal. The average person that's relying on fast food and impulse eating, they're going to constantly have some form of stomach discomfort, and they kind of start to live with it. They just think it's part of old age, right? It's just part of old age, which is a crock of crapola, right? So I'm not saying don't eat that stuff, but yeah, that's absolutely normal when you're, let me let the heat out here and you can just take a peek at all that hairiness down there if you'd like. Right. But what was I saying? I don't know. I'm not against any of this stuff, but just know the game you're playing. Big Tomas. I'm really enjoying the 10-minute deadlift block. I am running a nearly exclusive rest pause routine. Do you have any suggestions for squats? Squats, I do not like rest pause. Okay. Generally, because it's harder, like quick rest pause, it's harder to rack and unrack in a rest pause protocol. With that said, there are ways you could structure a rest pause for squats that would be workable. The thing is, you have to manage your cardiovascular, your windedness, your cardiovascular fatigue. So there's a little bit of management when it goes to that. We have to be a little bit smart. You could do something like a 5-minute block. You could do something like a 6x6 with a 1.5-minute rest. That doesn't necessarily sound like rest pause, but when you are squatting and you're doing a 6x6 with a 1.5-minute rest, that will kick you hard. And I think that's reasonable. 5-minute block where you pick a weight, like let's say you use 225, and you're like, I'm just going to get as many reps as I can in 5 minutes with 225. Just make sure you don't get sloppy. Squats are very unforgiving. We want to maintain our control, maintain our tightness, maintain our poise, and not just get sloppy and dive bomb the descent. So I only recommend any forms of rest pause for squats if your form is nailed down and you are prepared to be hyper disciplined. Barbell Beauty, how's it going? Team Massive. teammassiveiron.com. Big Jonathan, morning, Steve. Last week we discussed how I could go from 171 to 200 in 10 months. That's 29 pounds. Would this still be a good plan if I can only work out? Yeah, I mean, what is the downside? The upside is you're going to work hard. I want you to work hard during those 2 workouts a week, and you're going to work hard. If not, what's the point of even working out, right? You might as well take up Pilates, yoga, whatever, right? Skipping, whatever. But you're a little bit underweight, and that's not a criticism, right? 6'4", 171, a little bit underweight. So what is the worst thing that's going to happen? Your body normalizes and you need to do a 10-pound cut afterwards, right? I don't know why you can only lift 2 times a week. That is not a criticism, but just rip it up. Make it count. Don't obsess about volume. Don't obsess about anything. Obsess about making those sets count. Hit that bulk. You're going to build some muscle. And then if you need to rip off 10 pounds at the end, you can. Lifter XXX. Legs are the hardest. It is very scary to do this squat. Heavy weights are not nice. No, squats are mentally intimidating to me. And I have a poll. I put a poll up at the top. So I squatted yesterday, and they are still intimidating. I was squatting and I didn't put up my safety catches, and I'm using the Buffalo bar. The thing that scares me about that is I use a wide grip, and when you have to dump or if something goes wrong, it's going to drop, and it risks dropping on my wrists and all kinds of things. Squats are by far and away the most intimidating. Let's see. Arms are the most difficult, especially since there are a lot of meatheads in the gym doing bicep curls with 100 pounds, and they want to watch me. Just making a note here to my wife. What do we got? Mokri Bosnikri. Am I missing anything here? You're making me work for a living, right? Legs equal squats, squats equal pain, bad, 100%. Barbell Beauty, 30-day challenge is going great, but weight is being stubborn. Need to drop those calories. I mean, most women need to drop to 1,400 to 1,500 to have a realistic chance of, consistent weight gain. And I haven't pushed you because, it's not my goal to push it. It's not my goal to give unsolicited advice. But if you want my opinion, you got to get calories capped at 1,500. If I don't reach my weight goal of 10 pounds, would you suggest? I don't know. That's up to you. I think you bulked a long time. My suggestion for you would be to go aggressive for the next 10 to 15 days at 1,450 and then see what happens. Big Tim, would you control the No. And a lot of you hear a lot of chatter online by folks that are ignorant of how the average lifter is in the real world. And I'm not calling these people ignorant people or stupid or dumb, but they're ignorant of what is going on out there. More than anything in coaching, I've learned that the stiff leg deadlift, the Romanian deadlift, the deadlift, the squat tears up the lower back. They're harder forms of exercise to master posterior chain R, and they can tear up the lower back. And we need to take our time with these lifts. We do not need to be controlling the descent of the deadlifts or the barbell rows or the stiff leg deadlifts. If you get to super strong, bulletproof lower back and you want to control it, go ahead. But really all you're doing is creating a lot of unnecessary tension and stress. That's not going to provide a lot of benefit. The benefit of the stiff leg deadlift, just overworking the lower back, I'm not a big fan of it. I think deadlifts in general take more than they give. And for the average individual, overworking the eccentrics on a deadlift or stiff leg deadlift or Romanian deadlift, deadlift or stiff leg deadlift is just a bad idea. Don't do it. There's other ways to hit your lower back. What are your goals for Team Massive this year? When it comes to like hoodies or t-shirts, I just have to find the right image. If I don't find the right image, I'm not going to do it, but I'll see what I can do. Team Massive, I'm actually looking, we're about a few years into Team Massive, and I think it's time for an oil change, right? When you run a forum or community, there develops some bloat. And that is not the members. That's me. We get a lot of stuff in a lot of places to look. And right now we have a lot of bloat, and it can be intimidating. So I'm going to streamline that. I'm always looking for new platforms that streamline the process. I'm not going to run, and there's a lot of platforms out there, but I'm not going to run and move to a new platform. But the goal is to really streamline things. Right now, we have a very healthy community, but one of my visions for the community was to allow a place for the average lifter to get help, form checks, questions, and for beyond that, for lifters to interact with other lifters, to post questions and to have some interaction like Facebook groups. Right now on Team Massive, there's a lot of conversation, but there's not a lot of people seeking help relative to the number of members we have. And that is in no way the fault of the members. It's just as somebody that coaches for a living, I want to help people, right? So I want to find better ways to facilitate that, to streamline it. So I encourage people to ask for help on form, on programming, whatever. And I want to streamline conversations. So when somebody posts something like in the locker room, other people check it and look, but we just have so many things going on right now that there needs to be a little bit of, we need to combine some of the areas a little bit to streamline them. No, 7-8 months is not good for a 10-pound bulk. That's way too conservative. Way too conservative. It's just running too lean. I'm not saying you're paranoid, but the average person that wants to run this is trying not to get fat, and a normal bulk's not going to get you fat. That's way too slow. That's just not efficient, effective, etc. So we need to kick up that gain a little bit to about 2 pounds minimum, and 2.5 pounds per month. So I would do like 16, 15 bare minimum, 7 to 8, and maybe up to 20. This is Doc.
Can you hear a howling?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He won't shut up.
That's my Basset
Hound.
Hound.
Oh, you want to take him?
No, I'm actually doing something right now. No, I don't want to take him. No.
Okay.
All right.
I come to ask you a question.
What's the question?
Are these allowed on the diet?
All right. So we're going to do a poll real quick. There are, what do you got? 4 in here?
Oh, yeah.
4. She's got 4 caramel eggs. Is she allowed to eat these? Let me see your biceps. Flex your biceps. All I can see is your nipples right now.
And then my triceps.
Your triceps good. Then, okay. I think she has good biceps. This is like 680 calories. Yeah, you can eat these as long as you make me dinner.
I want to be high. I'll be pole dancing.
She'll be pole dancing. All right. Thank you. What if I repainted the power rack and it was pink? Would it make squatting easier?
Probably.
My response was
yes.
Only if you get pink lifting gloves and a pink scarf.
I have pink gloves.
You're allowed to have pink gloves.
And pink hair accessories and socks.
I do not have pink hair accessories and socks.
I have pink everything because it makes you go better. You gotta make cute outfits and then you do better.
You need cute outfits.
It's so true.
It is true. Any news on the app? Yeah, we are rocking along. We had a call on the app yesterday. It's looking to be ready by about summer-ish, and we're getting there really quickly. We're going to do an alpha, fix problems, and beta, and we're getting there. We really worked hard the last year, and I know it's dragging out, but we are taking our time. We're doing it right, and we want to enter this with a quality product. So it's very, very soon. We are most of your muscle gains from when you are eating too much, or was it as you cut down and then did cycles? Were most of your muscle gains from when you were eating too much? No, most of my muscle gains were during the first 3.5 years of training. And I didn't bulk specifically, but I started out at 154 and ended up at like 188 after 3.5 years. So I gained like 34 pounds. So I wasn't specifically bulking because we didn't really talk about bulking back then like we do now. But I was on a very consistent bulk, and I nailed my sleep. Big Jack Neary. In full disclosure, I understand that it's the calories that matter with weight loss. Yes. And I'm not sure if there was something else you're going to add to that. Calories do matter, but there are other factors involved with weight loss. Food choices matter. You have things like if you're just going to eat junk carbs, you're going to have this insulin roller coaster, probably feel hungry more often. When you eat lean proteins and a lot of plant-based choices as the majority of your foods, it takes more energy to digest them. And plus you get the benefit of food volume. So it's not just a math formula. You see clients that have 4,000 calories that are bulking, and they'll need to cut down to 2,400 to lose. So it's not a simple math formula, but it is an adjustment of the calories relative to the individual. So I'm not sure, Jack, what you were referencing there. What's on the Massonomics front today? What are we, just heavy ass lifting, right? I'm working on my book, working on my app, got a lot going on, and really working about 70 hours a week right now. Always thinking about Team Massive, trying to find ways to improve it. If I hug my woman and talk about love with her while training heavy squats, will it help and make it easy and pleasant? No. There is no estrogen allowed in the gym. That goes for men or women or Zers or Zoozies or furries or whatever you are. Cotton candy motherfuckers, right? Cotton candy hair motherfuckers with bull nose rings. Whatever you is. Be what you is. But there ain't no estrogen in the gym. It's all testosterone. You're a woman, turn that testosterone up. We need gains, right? You're a man, turn that testosterone up. We need gains. No estrogen in the gym. No touchy-feely, no huggy-wuggy, kissy, nothing. We don't need any estrogen in the gym. No Lifetime movies. No talking about Valentine's Day. None of that. You're thinking about one thing and one thing only. You're turning that testosterone dial up to max, right? That's what's going to help you with heavy ass weight. You Zer motherfuckers. Excuse my language. A little bit of humor. Jack, hi Steve. I enjoy pyramid style training because I'm adding weight on each set. Okay. How would you program that in for someone who likes to do that? I have a couple clients that like to do that. We need a progression indicator for each set. So let's say on bench, you do 180, 200, 220, whatever. That's where you start. You're going to have a progression indicator. It might be 12, 10, 8. So you need a progression trigger or indicator for each set. And whenever you hit that progression indicator on that specific set, then you add weight. Does that make sense? So let's say somebody wanted to do this and they were, a late beginner, early intermediate. Their bench, they want to do 140, 160, 180. Pyramid up in weight. So for the first set, 140, we're going to set a rep goal of 12 or a rep target or progression indicator of 12. For the second set, we're going to set one at about 10. And the third one, 7 to 8. So on 140, when you hit 12, that's on its own island. It's doing its own thing. When you hit 12 or more, you add 5 pounds and you can move up to 145. On the 160, it can be 9, it can be 10, whatever works for you. This is arbitrary. But you can, when you hit that progression indicator, you move the 160 up because it's on its own island. Am I going to get canceled saying Zer, even though I mean nothing offensive? I don't care if you're a Zer. I don't care if you're a furry. I don't really care because we're here to lift. We do not care what you associate as. Associate as whatever you want, but you better associate with some heavy ass weight. All right. Just a little Friday humor. What do you think about pink barbells for women, and are they more friendly to people with a weaker grip? I don't see a lot of pink barbells. Never seen a pink barbell. Seen some pink dumbbells, macaroni, but never any pink barbells. So if you want to spray paint your barbells pink or green or chartreuse or boysenberry or shit-stained brown, you do you. All right, 89 Charlotte. Why are legs so easy? What planet are you from? They're not easy to train for most of us, and I'm not being a smartass, but I didn't expect to read that. Squats, deads, and maybe calf raiser too, and they are 90%. Nah, that's not a leg workout, my friend. That's a posterior chain workout. That's deadlifts are for back. They're not a leg press. Calf raises don't even count for legs. And you said you're not 90% of the way there. You're 25% of the way there. You need more leg work. You need more leg training, quad training. Steel Rat goes to the gym. Happy Freitag. Big hairy ugly dude. Thanks for joining in. Anthony. On Instagram, you posted your client, Will Flaherty. Great physique. Is it one most of us could reach in 4 to 6 years? No. Will is a gym owner, been training most of his life. And, that's an advanced physique. Advanced physiques, for most of us, we're just not going to hit that groove, right? I'd like to say you can do it in 4 to 5 years optimally, but it's going to take everything to be right. It's going to take your training, your nutrition, your sleep. Generally, 10 years of hard work, 8 to 10 years is a more realistic goal for the average person. Big Lifter Triple X. So do we, lifters, have 20% more strength in lifting heavy weights when wearing women's clothing? I don't. This is 2024. Let's have a serious discussion here. Do we even know what women are in 2024? Why do you assume a dress is for a woman? See, there's a breakdown fundamentally of your logic here because you are not framing things in 2024. I don't understand 2024 very well, but what I do know is that we are allowed to wear whatever we want, use whatever pronouns, be a furry, be whatever, alien fluid. I associate with an alien, being an alien from Tau Ceti. Right? I don't know. Do we even know what a woman is? Richard, have a great weekend. Thanks, Richard. Am I going to get canceled? How would you rate these? It's just humor. How would you rate these? We have to put a caveat on what humor is. That's 2024. How would you rate these in terms of muscle building? Good. I don't do tier lifts on things because those are all good. Those are all equivalent lifts. I would not I should say if I tier listed them, they'd be all equal in my book. They'd be all quality as long as they feel good for you. Big CJ. I came across a video that suggested a maintenance period at the top range of a bulk would yield. This is so arbitrary. And would therefore make it beneficial. This is so arbitrary and random. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Why would you want to maintain? I can tell you from coaching that the second I see a client hit maintenance level, their presses struggle. This is some overthinking Harry Potter School of Hogwarts pulled out of your ass bullshit nonsense, right? One guy might have he might have had a really good luck roll of the dice and hit maintenance and saw some strength gains. But overall, this is just a bullshit concept. It is. Why are we trying to maintain? Why would we, if we're trying to build strength, try to pull back our calories, like somehow it's going to magically build more strength. We need to do what is conventional, right? And being counterintuitive, this type of thing, where we're going to pull back on calories with the goal of gaining strength. No, this is one of the, these sorts of things can get me in trouble, but this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. It is. Use convention. What is the benefit? The benefit is one person thinks this works. What are the downsides? The downsides are number one, we're going against convention and common sense. Number two, we're trying to make the process harder. No way. Add 300-400 more calories a day. Add them in. What is the downside? That after 6 weeks, we need to lose 2 more pounds of fat? I'm going to take the risk on eating a little bit more. Hey, team, will you be going to the Arnold? Not this year. I just got too much going on. We're looking to do it next year, legit. But I got to get my app out. I got to get my book done. So many things I just can't afford to take a weekend off. All right. So each and every week, I give out a free t-shirt, hoodie, or something to one of the questions. And I'm going to give it out to this individual. If you can hit me up on Instagram at Ben the Barman or email me benthebarman@gmail.com. I'll give you a free whey, creatine, Team Massive membership, t-shirt, hoodie, whatever you would like. All right, let me get a drink. We're 37 minutes in and we're rolling along quickly. I'm spoiling myself with a Purple Monster. I've been drinking Diet Mountain Dew to save money, but hey, we can all have splurging, right? So I can't believe we got into all the Zer stuff. It's kind of entertaining, right? The furry stuff. Don't you find it entertaining? Like I legit don't care what anybody does. I legit don't care. But you have to admit, it's entertaining. All right, let's roll on. Do you see any, Big Mike M, do you see any issue going into close grip bench if I still have some pec soreness? Nah, just be smart. I did close grip incline 2 days ago. Be smart. Do your warm-ups. If anything feels funky, just shut her down. Intro is evolving. Love it. Thank you. How many running are you doing these days? I use nothing other than Speedcross Force by Solomon. I just love them. Love the shoe. Don't want to change. I think I bought every size 11 on the planet. And I was running 3 times a week. I got slammed the last couple of weeks, so steps are down, but that's the goal right now. Good morning. Wanted to ask if it's worth bulking past 220. I don't know, man. I mean, unless you're super tall, I don't like going above 220. You could maybe go to 230, but once you cap at 230, you're getting into the heart attack zone. I don't think that's a good place to be. I have a high weight, but I still look disproportionate. Don't know if I should cut. I don't want you getting too close to that red line. You're probably younger than us. Me, but I would probably, honestly, not knowing much about you, I'd probably say don't ever go above 220. It's just not worth it. Carl, usually just lurk, but hello, thanks for tuning in, Kyle. Big Joe B, I got itchy nose. During a bulk, should we monitor our waist size? No, there's really no benefit to it. I mean, there's benefit to taking measurements once a month, but those are more on arms and legs. But if we are doing things properly over time, we're going to see some arm and leg measurements, and our waists are going to stay about the same. Do you have pink days too? No. Death days. Pink is nice, but what do you have against pink? I associate as a man that doesn't like pink. I don't care if men wear pink. I don't care if you wear the little pink polo with the little polo guy on there. I don't care if you wear pink undie bundies. I don't care if you wear pink socks, a pink ball cap. I don't care if you wear a pink scarf. I don't care what you do. But I associate as a man that doesn't like to wear pink. Speaking of good mornings, I saw Graham Hicks do 595. Yeah, it's pretty intense. I can't even fathom doing that. I think the most I ever got up to is like 400 for reps. Do you ever prioritize some muscles for a period? You can do a specialization block. And I've done some videos on specialization before. Head over to the main page on YouTube and search specialization. But what we want to do is, let's say we're doing 72 hard sets a week. Okay. And let's say we're doing 12 hard sets a week for chest, back, shoulders, and quads each. So that's 48 sets. You got two things you can do during a specialization. Number one, you can raise the set volume while training hard for that specific body part. So let's say you're doing 12, 12, 12, 12 for back, shoulders, chest, and quads, and you want to have a leg specialization. You want to add 6 sets per week to quads to 18. You can either just add in those 6 sets and take the punishment of the extra time in gym. That's up to you and your schedule. Or you can add in 6 sets of quads and then take off 2 sets of chest, back, and shoulders. And then you have the same weekly volume, the same time in gym. So I never put anything on the back burner. You can still train hard with reduced volume on those other body parts, but we're going to take some time and specialize on one area. Does that make sense? Carlton, good morning from the road. Thanks for tuning in. October surprise. Maybe you were an October surprise for your dad. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm pregnant. Do you have any advice for lifters who deal with sleep deprivation? I need to know the circumstances, but we need to really be focused on maximizing what we can. We need to maximize what we can. We need to try to go to sleep at the same time. We need to try to be apart from our phone for about an hour before we go to bed. We need to monitor our caffeine intake. We need to do room darkening, maybe add some sound, some background noise. We need to do what we can to encourage good sleep. But apart from that, I mean, all we can do is focus on what we can control. Big Bruce, 6 over easy eggs on the side with a pound of bacon. That's my kind of breakfast, 100%. Do you think doing a single 2-minute block of leg curls would equal about 3 sets? Yes, because if you add up the total reps, you're going to get pretty close to 30. And that's going to end up being pretty close to about, 3 sets. Look at the overall reps. That's a good indicator of, are you going a little bit too light? Are you going a little bit too heavy? And if you have pretty equivalent reps, even though it's rest pause, the intensity of the leg curl work, because it's rest pause, is going to be greater. You're going to beat that muscle down. Let it recover just slightly, and then you beat it down. Let it recover just slightly, then you're going to beat it down. And you're increasing the overall intensity or value or stress from that rep. When doing barbell rows, do you like to do them? I like to do them pendlay because I like to do them dead stop. It's easier on the lower back. I can brace easier. And I don't necessarily do super fast eccentrics. I just control it down. I let gravity do it and I control it down. I'm not purposely trying to slow it. When doing straight sets, do you recommend adding weight only when the last 2 is 2 reps above? Pretty much. I think 2 reps is fair because 2 reps is about 10 pounds on a barbell or dumbbell lift. And when you bump up, you're going to be pretty close to 10, 10, 10. Okay. So I think it makes sense. I think if you do 11, you can do 11. It can go down to 9. You can go between 9 and 11. But I think 2 above is a pretty good place to be. Any advice on coming back from neck herniations? Recently out of pain and trying to get back in the gym. I've no experience with a neck hernia. I've never worked with anybody with a neck hernia. But with any injury, we have to go in and go slowly. We have to feel out every exercise. We have to see what bothers us. Very light warm-up sets, and we need to progress very slowly and only do what we can. And we need to accept the reality that there might be some exercises we can't do right now. But the ones we can, we need to slowly ramp up and work hard. Can you walk us through a workout that you did when you hit your strongest bench and squat? When I was at my strongest, I was basically doing alternating between bench days and squat deadlift days. That's all I was doing. I was very much intuitive, but I was always heavy. So on bench, I would work up to a max single, double, triple, or 5, then maybe do a couple back off sets, and then maybe some close grip benches. But I was doing a lot of heavy singles with chains, with slingshots, really a lot of heavy work frequently. Same thing with squats. Every 2 to 3 days, I was under the bar with heavy, and just depending on how I felt that day during warm-ups, I might go I went up to 645 by 2. Sometimes I just do 605 by 5. Whatever I felt like on that day, but I was always going up more than I wanted to do. On deadlifts, I spent a lot of time pulling 2 to 3, 4, 5 inches off the ground with chains, just really working the weight and the lockouts and the overall brutality. So that's what I was doing when I was at my strongest. 89 Charlotte, keep up the good work. Thank you. The introvert shirt is genius. Thanks. I got a new shirt, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know if I can share it. Hold on. I'll share it for anybody that wants to check it out. Just hold on a second. I always like to preface this stuff by saying that I make like $5 off shirts. So I'm not trying to be an apparel company. I do this stuff mostly just because I enjoy it. And where we at? Here we go. Let me pull it up. And let's see. Share screen. Share screen. Hold on. Apparel, page 9. Okay, so this is the introvert shirt. Introvert, but willing to discuss lifting. You know, you got all different colors. You can go over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search introvert. And I got it in a tanker, and I got it in a racerback, and I got this new shirt available in the same. It's not the method, but the madness. And what else I got that's new? I'm just doing new stuff occasionally. I think I made this for Patty Pereira, Chonk Life. And what's this one? That's Chonk Life as well. If you're a Chonk cat lover. What do we got here? Oh, this is a new shirt I put together. Eat iron, shit nails. And I kind of put the eat iron over the naughty word so it wouldn't be as obvious. I was bored one day, trained like an old man. That looks a little bit stupid, but what else we got here? As big, as strong as humanly possible. I'm always messing around with shirt designs just to see what I can create, just more for fun. And Caffeinate, Dominate. I got that over here. There's another Caffeinate, Dominate, Repeat. It's a couple of different styles. We'll look at one more and then we'll jump ship. I don't want to bore you with stuff. Let's see. This was for a member of Team Massive Bulk, 10 pounds up. This one I did for fun. Look at those amazing Photoshop skills where we have the dumbbells on the Yeti. Yes, amazing. And I kind of like this one a little bit, the whole superhero look, massive. That's what I do in my fun, just doing some creative work. Now we're getting into some of our old Christmas stuff and whatnot. So that's about it. All right. Fat chicken in a barn. I couldn't eat just one, so it's a pass for me on the Cadbury eggs. Yeah, you get those around, I'm going to eat them all. Caramel eggs infamously go directly into the biceps. I think 4 out of 5 dentists agree. Anthony, what is one supplement for lifting that hasn't had a lot of evidence but does seem promising to try if you have a few bucks? Wow, good question. Good question. I am not a cutting edge supplement guy. I think if there's one that I think would be underrated in general, it would be the combination of creatine and beta alanine. Way back when I got into writing, I wrote an article about some studies on using creatine and beta alanine at the same time. They can be complementary. And I don't know what the current science is, but I don't think there's any downsides. The problem with beta alanine is you can't just take it in one dose each day. You have to basically take it like when you get up, and then at noon, and then at 4, and then at 8. It's best taken frequently during the day. And the specific dosages you can find at examine.com if you search beta alanine. But if I would say there is one thing that's underrated, it is putting beta alanine with creatine. I think those two are a very good complement. And if you are serious, I would probably explore that. What's the origin of International Chess Day on Monday? I could tell you way back when in the Precambrian age, when I was young, we didn't have a bench press Monday. We just kind of did the stuff, right? And, whenever you bench, you'd bench, right? Whenever you bench, you'd bench. I think it kind of really came about in the mid 2000s because people started to notice when they started to gather on something called social media and internet forums that folks were benching a lot on Monday. They'd come in after their wild parties on the weekend or whatever and start doing that stuff. Guys, we're just about an hour in. Post up your questions. I'm here to help. If you're new here, please post up your questions. Keep them coming. We've been rolling through them today very, very quickly because I'm hyper caffeinated, but just keep the questions coming. I will hop off when we have no more questions, and we got a bunch in the queue yet. Currently 5'8", 220, cutting down to 160. That's a big jump. I'm not being critical when I say that's just a big jump. Currently getting between, would this be enough? Well, enough, yes. But when you are on a cut, and this is not a requirement, this is just a suggestion, we want to maximize food volume. And one of the ways we do so is by eating more lean protein. We also want to maximize the thermogenic effect of the food we eat. So eating more protein takes more energy to digest and process that protein. You generally, to minimize hunger, to maximize food volume, and to maximize the thermogenic effect of food, we probably want to get about 35% minimum calories from protein. So just keep that in mind. If you don't hit that, are you going to die? Are you going to lose muscle gains? No. But it is overall more beneficial for efficient fat loss and for satiety or just, fighting off hunger with food volume. If there was a good deal going on for rubber hex dumbbells, and you had 3 options, 100s all the way. 120s are pretty rare. Like if I were going to have a home gym, I would get the 100s first. I don't think there's, like, if all you ever get, and I say all, but all you really ever need to get for muscle building chest press would be 100s. You could do 3 sets of 15 on there. You're going to be big and juicy, right? So I would get the 100s. Now, the only lift generally, and this is a generalization, but the only lift that we're going to go above 100s on are usually dumbbell rows. So from there, I would probably get 120s. And if you start to crush 120s, I would probably get 150s. Because on the dumbbell row, 150 is probably kind of a really solid cap. I mean, you could do 2 sets of 12, 2 sets of 15 on those, and that would be about all you need. Bruce, thank you for the donation. Bruce Decline, thanks for all you do. Signed up for another year, so you stuck with me. That's what I like to hear, man. I appreciate that. Did you see Dr. Wolf coaching optimal back and chest exercise? He's starting to go wrong when he said that flies are the best. Okay. I'm going to try to say this. And I want you to understand, I don't know anything about Dr. Wolf personally. I'm just going to share my opinion. He can feel free to share his opinion. I do not like most of his advice. He is very much a length and partial guy. I feel, and this is my opinion, that he comes off as scientific, but he is missing the opinions of other people that are really looking at this hard. I do not in any way like a lot of his advice. In fact, I used to follow him on social media, but it makes me nervous when anybody starts associating with him. I'm just being real. That's how I feel. Hate on me, call me an idiot, call me a fool, call me a hater. But when I see people associating with him, it makes me nervous because the whole length and partial thing, and what we know about it right now, that it really is only beneficial to ranked newbies, and then ranked newbies don't even need to use it, not to mention the fact that a length and partial is part of a full length rep anyway, right? But when a coach like this goes all in on something and he's like in a corner and everybody else is on the other side of the room, I am going to be reasonable and rational. I'm not attacking him, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. You know, it makes me nervous when I see that one person in the corner shouting and most everybody else is like, I don't know. And then the people that associate with him, I mean, flies are not the best for chest. That's nonsense. That's absolutely nonsense. Number one, the real word, flies tend to tear up the shoulders of most lifters. They have no progression opportunity. If all you ever did was flies, you wouldn't see crap for gains. Pullovers for a big back. The EMG data really shows that pullovers are more chest. Yes, you can lat focus them, but it's a trivial lift. It's a fourth tier lift, right? It's in the massive iron world, no fucking way are we going to rely on that stuff. Those are fourth tier lifts. When you crush yourself with bench press and with dumbbell bench press and with machine chest press and all these kinds of stuff, then you can do a fourth tier lift, because then we're depleted and we can put the icing on the cake, put the final nail in the coffin. That's when you pull out the flies. Even flies are better exercises. Pec deck is a better exercise because it has a bigger progression opportunity, and you can get a better feel, and it doesn't tear up the shoulders as much. The barrel press, I would argue, is an evolved form of the fly that is much more shoulder friendly and allows for progression. Big back, come on. Seriously. Back, more than anything else, has so many quality exercise options. Pendley rows, barbell rows, Yates rows, T-bar rows, seated cable rows with a wide grip, seated cable rows with the V-bar, lat pull downs, reverse grip lat pull downs, pull-ups, chin-ups, machine back row, seal rows, dumbbell, chest-supported dumbbell rows, lat bias dumbbell rows. We could go on. The back, there are so many quality exercises, and you're going to pull in pullovers for a big back. Look, what I want to say and what I'm going to say are two different things. Because if I pull in some humor, it's going to sound offensive, but it sounds like a bad acid trip to me. No, look, I don't like starting wars or feuds, and that's not my intention. But I just think there are certain people that I think really you have to be careful with their advice. And when you have somebody like that, you need to take their advice and you need to look at it versus all other conventional advice and be really careful with it. How important is training a muscle group to? No, it's not important. And we've addressed this over and over and over again on this channel, and people can't let it go. And I'm going to repeat this every week, and I appreciate the question because it's an opportunity to beat the drum. I do not care how you train. I'm not a full body guy. I'm not a frequency guy. I'm not a body split part guy. I am somebody that understands the science and understands the history of lifting. And I can tell you with certainty that it does not matter. And 20 years after my death, we'll still be on that same path because we are trying to overvalue one aspect of training. We're missing the most important part, and that is hard training and consistency. Now, the science, where everybody got sucked into a pool of hype, was that the science on frequency training showed a minor benefit compared to body part splits. But, and here's the big but that you guys have to understand. What we did a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, Dr. Schoenfeld saw this, Paul Carter saw this, other big names in the industry saw this, is that the reason why the frequency studies showed an advantage was because they had built in more weekly volume. So what the frequency studies had done, indirectly and not on purpose, have created an environment where they were using more volume on frequency trainees and less volume on body part split trainees. So this is very important because this is the comment that Schoenfeld and Carter and other guys that were paying attention saw, that when you compare studies where volume is equated, right, there's no bias, indirect bias built into a frequency training where we're doing more volume for frequency than a body part split. When volume is equated, volume is the same over the course of a week. What we found was there was no difference at all in the research, and potentially a slight advantage, potentially, for body part splits. Basically, it says it doesn't matter, what we've known all along. I've been through all the waves, and I repeat this over and over again, all the waves, because I've been training for 38 years. It started out with full body, and then it splintered off in twice a week, and then we went to body part splits. And about the time I started writing for Muscle and Strength, and I had my forum, Muscle and Brawn, we were looking at a lot of the old training styles of the lifters in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And we started to, on Muscle and Brawn, and I'm not saying that we started this, but that's what we were doing on Muscle and Brawn. We started reintroducing frequency training and splits and old school training into the mix when everybody else was still doing body part splits. Now, when I started writing for Muscle and Strength and I became their content director and editor, I started putting out articles on full body workouts, the viability of full body workouts, and I was attacked in that era. Just like I'm attacked now for talking about the viability of body part splits, back then I was attacked for talking about the viability of full body. I have seen it all, and I've been through all the phases enough to know that it doesn't matter. You can believe it matters. That's great. If you believe it matters and you want to do a full body or frequency training, that's fine. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you train hard. Most of my clients, at least 70%, are on AB type of splits or variations. Some are on push-pull, arms, legs, push-pull, legs, and about 30% are on body part and various other programs. It's not important. Hard training is important. In fact, there can be some benefits to frequency. Some people don't like beating the crap out of a muscle group in one session. But on the other hand, some people like that laser focus on one session. They like being able to recover, because when you can fully recover in between sessions, you're going to be able to perform a little bit better. That is one potential upside. We have two variables in training. We have fitness and fatigue. This is fitness, your innate current strength ability, your ability to work hard. If you are fatigued and it overshadows your fitness level or your strength level, you're not going to be able to perform as well. So by recovering a little bit more, you can perform a little bit better. This is all theory, but it is certainly one benefit of working a body part once per week, is that you're almost always going to be fresh. Now, the debate could be made, or the point could be made, that because you're reducing volume on a frequency program, that you are probably, because you're not hitting it as hard, you might be a little bit better recovered for the next frequency workout. That potentially could be okay, but it falls apart a lot in the real world with big lifts. Like if I crush bench press on Monday for 3 hard sets, I'm going to have lingering fatigue in my chest and shoulders on Wednesday. Is it going to be debilitating? No. Are we hyping this up as something that's going to be limiting? No. Could I go in and just do pec deck or a lighter day on Wednesday? Absolutely. It's very nuanced, and my point is not to position one as better than the other. The point is that for the individual, you need to do what feels good for you, and you need to set aside the whole nonsense. Could we just please move past it as a community? That we're going to really just fall into the cult that one small variable is so super important. Even if in the future, the science reveals that body part splits have an advantage over full body, or full body have an advantage over body part splits, I'm going to tell you, based on what we know and the reality of 70, 60 years of training, even if there was scientifically an advantage, it would be so trivial that over 6 to 10 years of training, everything would even out. It wouldn't matter. That's what we need to understand. Anthony, this is a wild live. Thankfully, we got past the Z-Zer stuff. Any recommendations for quad training at home gym? Quad training at a home gym is probably one of the hardest things you can do. The quad exercises you can do at home are squats, and you can do variations of squats. You can do like DDP, dynamic double progression. You can do threes. You can do 6-6, drop 20%. You can do 20 rep. You can work in different variations. You can do lower and higher rep work, 3x5s and 3x12s. Then we get into the lunges and Bulgarian split squats. Goblet squats are my least favorite because I feel like I never feel worked as hard with goblet squats. Old-fashioned sissy squats are an option. There are some ways that we could do supersets to increase the intensity. If we're looking at straight bodybuilding, you could do lunges, take a quick 20-second break, and then do squatty waddies. So you can do some intensity techniques to increase the variety. That's really your best bet. Big Lee. Thoughts on 2 really hard sets to failure. Don't fall into any magic. Like, my thoughts are, I focus on hard training. I don't try to create arbitrary things, right? And I'm gonna like, sure, I have workouts where I do 2 sets per exercise, but we do those for a lot of different exercises. I don't try to create arbitrary. Like, one of my thoughts on anything, it depends on the bigger picture of the program, right? Some programs I do 4 to 5 sets for bench. Some I do 2, but the overall weekly volume of the program stays about consistent. And there's no value in doing all sets, 2 to 3 reps left in the tank. I don't like that style of training. It's not efficient or effective for bodybuilding, for even strength building. I'm not a fan of arbitrary. Why? Let's push hard. We don't have to push every set hard, but if I'm going to go in and load up 200 on the bench and just leave 2 to 3 reps in the tank. Number one, we're guessing. Number two, it's just lazy training to me, unless we're doing some form of progression or we're increasing the weight slowly over time. I don't like it at all. I don't like leaving reps in the tank on all sets of an exercise. I think it's not necessary, and it's just a foolish way to approach training. Big Bad Wes. Hey, Steve, I'm trying a lower volume program with 3 to 6 sets per week. That's too low, man. You're not going to stall in progression. Stalling is a nonsense belief. It's a fairy tale, and I'm not being hard on you, Wes. But stalling, plateauing is what we do is we misunderstand the slowing of progression over time as you get stronger and bigger as a stall. If you're truly stalling, then your diet's probably crap and your effort's probably crap. Because if your effort's there and your diet's there, you're not going to stall, really. Stalling is super rare. And if it does occur, it's going to be on one rare body part. Like I got to 4 or 5 by 5 on squats, and for a year I could not get above. That's a true stall, where you built a lot of strength and things have just slowed, and I need to change things up in advanced lifter, as a near advanced lifter. But number one, I think that's too little, especially 3 sets per major body part. Way too little, my friend. Way, way, way too little. Unless that's all you can do because of time, I would never do a program like that, never advocate it. Stalling is a completely different subject, but you asked if you should add a set. I would never go that low unless time forced you to go that low. There's no reason to seek minimums. Let's just seek convention. That's the massive iron way. I have big problems with sleep too. Yeah, I mean, it's a common thing, and I'm no sleep expert, but I know all we can do is focus on what we can control. And we're all adults, so we can talk about sex, but sex helps, avoiding caffeine helps, getting some sound in, darkening the room, keeping the room cool, all those things can only help. 2 months ago, I was supposed to make a film about specialized barbells, and what happened? We're still waiting. 2 months ago, I was supposed to make I'm not sure what you mean. Graphic design is my passion. I'm not a graphic designer, but I've been doing my own graphic design since 1999. And I've been in content. I've worked with designers. I understand a lot of the fundamentals of design, font use, and pacing and spacing and all that kind of crap. So I have kind of an okay eye for it. Massive Iron World Runner 2024, even though you'll be dead. Let's hope. No standing calf raise station. Calf raise versus leg press versus Smith. One of the things I like to do is, all those are fine. One thing I like to do is rocking calf raises. I like to use my VersaGrips, and I like to grab a barbell, and I kind of rock up on my toes and then rock back on my heels. I don't rock up, get my foot off the ground, but I rock up on my I press up on my toes and then rock back on my heels, and then I press up on my toes. You can do this and for very high reps, and it's one of my favorite things to do, and you really have a lot of progression opportunity. That's one of my favorites. You can do that in the Smith. Leg press is certainly fine, but just keep that option in the mix. Let me get a drink. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'll stand as long as you have questions. With your new app, how will you track dumbbell weight? We want you to put in 50s, 37 and a halves. It's best to put in the weight per hand, because if you're doing a single arm dumbbell row and you're using 110, if we assume that it's going to double, we have to have a standard, right? It has to be per hand weight. So that way, when we're structuring the app, if it's a single arm movement, we know it's multiplier of 1. If it's a double arm movement, we know it's a multiplier of 2. Does that make sense? Hit those thumbs up. Thank you. Live is very funny on YouTube because it's hard to get a lot of views on live. It's just a little bit different than a normal content video. So I appreciate all the interactions. How conservative would you be with progressing in load after reintroducing squats? I just recently reintroduced squats after a year of a knee injury. I hurt my left knee walking down the steps, taking the dogs out. I know that sounds silly, but I just twisted it and it was inflamed for like 8 to 10 months. I honestly thought I would never be able to work legs again. It was so bad. I couldn't even do like 2 sets of leg extensions, and it just made it worse. I thought I was done. I literally thought I was done. But I'm back up squatting. I'm doing okay, doing fine. I'm doing leverage squats and leg extensions. Everything's fine. Leg training is normal. But when I came back, I had to start with a bare minimum. What I started with, and this is just what I did, was 135 by 3x5, 155 by 3x5, 175 by 3x5. And I'm not a fives guy, but I was trying to work up and not do too much volume and feel things out. So I've been training squats like 2.5 months using that. Yesterday I did 280 by 8. So I'm still slowly creeping up. From here, I'm going to creep up 5 pounds a week when I hit my progression indicator. So I'm going to get up to 285, 290. The weight feels light, and that's not me, puffing up my chest and trying to sound like a superhero. While the weight feels light, I'm coming back, and I want to make sure the connective tissue can strengthen. I'm in no rush. Look, I know what it feels like to have 650 on my back. I've been there before. I don't need to do that. I'll be 57. I would be happy in this day and age at just doing 315 for 3 sets of 8. I think that's really all I need to maintain legs. So that's my goal. But I'm going to work up conservatively, 285, 290, 295, and I'll just stop when I feel like I'm pretty much, where I need to be for safe weekly training. Most memorable question during all the years doing lives. Wow. Every week there's something memorable and interesting, a rant or a question. Probably one of the most memorable was me bashing Freaky D before I knew Freaky D. And I'll explain. I wasn't bashing him. I didn't know who he was. But someone came on live way, way, way back when. And on live, right, your brain's processing stuff on the fly. So you're going to make mistakes. So somebody mentioned a bencher. This is before I knew him or anybody knew him. And I'll explain the whole story. There's a bencher called Freaky D that uses linear periodization. What do you think of that? My brain, because I hate linear progression, like trying to add 5 pounds. They said he uses linear periodization. They said he uses linear periodization. Has got his bench up to 500. I said bullshit. No one can go. And my brain read it as linear progression because that's when you say they use linear periodization to go to 500, it sounds like linear progression to go to 500. You know what I'm saying? At least it did in my brain. So I said, bullshit. No one's going to start with 135 pounds on the bar and do linear progression up to 500. That's the way my brain interpreted it. So word got back to Freaky D. And I'm like, wait, I made a mistake. I did. So I apologize. I made an apology video to him. And we've since become decent acquaintances. I have nothing but respect for him. He understood like a man that I made a mistake and read it as linear progression. He understood. But that was really a memorable time during live because it almost started a holy war. People were like, fuck you, get him, right? And like, hey, it just happens during live sometimes that I'm sure it happens more often than not that's why I was a little bit nervous about talking about Dr. Wolf. If you want my real opinion about him, hit me up on DM. I'll share my real opinion. But I don't want fights and feuds. I really don't. I want to help you guys. All the drama shit, I leave it for all the drama queens. But look, there are some people out there that spread really borderline information. And I'm always going to be honest with you guys. And if that starts a fight or a feud, so be it. If somebody's angry because I disagree, whatever, right? I disagree with them. You disagree with me. Good. You guys can decide who's right. You guys can decide what you want to believe. If you wanted to try dosing beta-alanine and creatine together, could you mix the proper combined daily dose with again? That's a lot of water. But I see what you're saying. You want to space out beta-alanine. So yeah, you'd have to shake it up because it's going to settle. I don't know. I've never tried it. I assume beta-alanine would settle. But I think that would be reasonable. I'd probably throw a little sodium in there just to keep your electrolytes steady as well. Not a lot, so you feel like you're licking salty balls or anything all day long, right? But I put maybe a little bit in there. Eric, your opinion on, maybe some of you guys like licking salty balls. Hey, it's 2024, whatever you want. Your opinion on EAA when training fasted. Well, BCAAs and EAAs, obviously the impact can be well overblown, right? But I don't think in a fasted state there's any downside to having a flavored drink with EAAs or BCAAs during a fasted period. What's the downside? Nothing. Your leg's not going to fall off. You're not going to, ruin anything, wreck anything. Sometimes in lifting, we have to go beyond the science. And if we have a few extra bucks, we have to try things for ourselves. Is the body that fragile that during fasting periods, you're going to lose muscle if you're training hard and nailing your calories? No. The body is not that fragile. And that's something we talk about a lot on Massive Iron. With that said, I think, and I used to drink a lot of, I would have scoop of BCAA flavor that I liked in water, just because I liked the taste of it. And I don't know about you guys, but drinking straight water all day can get a little bit of, boring. So we have to look at downsides. The only downside is money out of your pocket. If you can afford it and you want to try, go right ahead. I tore my bicepticon on a stretch-focused bicep movement. I only do bicep. I think Preachers would be good to add. Preachers has a weird stretch for me. Now, it might not be the same for you guys, but there's a weird stretch at the bottom of a Preacher for me. I don't like it. I have to stand up and lean forward. But everybody is different. That's one of the beautiful things about lifting. So you do you. If it feels okay, do it. I would prefer dumbbell, easy bar curl, hammer curl, maybe a machine cable curl. I think a machine cable curl with an easy bar, I think you can get a lot of value out of that. There's not a lot of cable exercises that I think are good quality, solid choices. Seated cable rows are one. I think the seated cable row is another. The machine biceps kind of feel like an awkward position for me. I just think there's a lot of other good biceps exercises out there. For me personally, Preachers are lower on the list. Certainly try them. How many hard sets do you think is a good range for leg day? Well, we want to do about 12 hard sets per week for quads and about 6 for hammy whammies. And some will say, hey, hamstrings are a major muscle group. Fair. But we have to look at the context of weekly volume and how much time we have in the gym. If you have an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, 4 times a week, then 72 hard sets a week is perfect for you. That's 18 hard sets per workout. Now, if we break that down and we consider all the major and less major body parts, chest, back, shoulders, and quads, like hamstrings are major, yes, but you train your hamstrings a lot during legs and deadlifts and other things. So when we get the hamstrings, we don't have to put as much direct work to them. Same for arms. You're going to train your arms a lot with back work and shoulder work and chest work. And then when you get to arms, you don't have to do as much. So therefore, we consider it a minor body part. Now, you're going to work out an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes a week, 4 times a week for an hour and 15, hour and a half. That's what you got. That's where we're going to start with 72 hard sets or 18 hard sets per workout. In that window, you can do 12 hard sets for back, 12 hard sets for delts, 12 hard sets for chest, 12 hard sets for quads. You're at 48 sets. Okay, then we're going to add in 6 hard sets for biceps, triceps, and hammy whammies. We're at 60 total sets. That leaves us 12 sets left. And then maybe we do a little calves, maybe do a little shruggy wuggies, whatever. And then you're going to hit 72 sets very, very quickly. So that's where I get those numbers from. These are a good starting point for someone that's training 4 days a week. Basically, you take how many days a week you can train and you multiply that by 18. So if it's 5 days a week, it's 90. If it's 4, it's 72. If it's 3, it's 54. And then you can adjust slightly up or down from there based on your preferences and time in gym. Wes, thank you for answering my question. You're welcome. Absolutely. Keep the questions coming. What are your thoughts on using a 3-week wave with different rep ranges? Yeah, I have no issues with it. On the big lifts, absolutely. 100% no issues with it as long as the structure is decent. Is the lowest you would go 10 to 12 sets per muscle group? The lowest I would go would be about 8 sets from major and about 4 to 5 from minor. That'd be about the lowest I would go. 8 sets and 4 to 5. 8 sets for chest, shoulders, back, and quads would be 32 per week. And then you add in 4 for biceps, triceps, and hammies. You're at about 44, and then some supplementary stuff. You're at like 50 to 54. That's going to be 3 workouts of 18 sets. That'd be about the lowest I would go. Anthony, do you think there are still opportunities? Absolutely. One of the services I want to do this year is to help people understand content and how to make a living off content being authentic. And look, we can get into all the stuff of lighting and video editing. And if I didn't coach full time for a living, I'd have more time to put into that, more time to research that stuff. But one of the services I was looking at putting out this year was to help people understand how to make thumbnails for videos, what tools to use to do it if you don't understand graphic design, what video editors can you use that are inexpensive, how to title videos. I've been in content my whole life. My whole life was about growing social media and websites through content. And if anything, over the years, because of working in the industry and then coaching, my content's always been on the back burner. So I've always had to try to put it out as a secondary thing. Content's not my priority. Basically, I don't earn a living off YouTube like YouTube revenue. My living is earned through coaching and selling books and selling phone consults. So if I didn't do that, like Greg Doucette makes so much money, or AthleanX makes so much money just off YouTube, that they can take their time and really make some quality, let's get the lighting right. Let's get the sound right. Let's get all the things and the editing right. I don't have time for that, right? But back to your question, absolutely. if you are authentic and you know your lane, what is it I'm passionate about and knowledgeable about, and you're consistent, you're going to grow a base. Big Troy. If I have to load a pressing weight in from the bottom of the movement, I count that as a rep. Yeah, no. My start right here on a pin press, that's rep number 1. Press up. Press up is always a weight. The concentric's always a rep. Simonson, do you have an opinion or experience with a chiropractor? Only one time have I been to a chiropractor, and it was Crunchberry. It made me nervous. He wanted to do some jack up stuff with my neck. Look, call it irrational, call it whatever. I don't like anybody doing with my neck. I just don't. He was like, your vertebrae in your neck are starting to fuse from all the years of heavy squatting. I'm like, very nice, right? I'd rather have my neck a steel beam. I don't care if I can't look that way very well. I'll take it. I'll take the upsides that come from that. I don't like it. I just don't. Anthony, Ben & Jerry's salty balls flavor. That's right, salty peanut balls. Would you own any other pets besides dogs? I used to be a cat guy. I love male cats. Male cats are very easy to manage. If you're somebody that's not around the house a lot, male cats are great. They're probably the best choice. Oh, yeah, you're supposed to record a video about specialized barbells. Thanks. I forgot all about that. I'll put that back on the list. Faye Dan. My forearms fail before my biceps. That's normal. Should I keep them in and let my forearm? Yeah. Don't stop training. That's part of the growth curve. When you start lifting or you're building your base strength, your forearms are going to lag. Your front delts are going to be sore from pressing. That's okay. Keep attacking. We want to get stronger. We want to keep pushing those things. If you never do, you're never going to get your forearms stronger. You're never going to get your front delts stronger. So don't quit. When is Table Talk with Dave Tate? They scheduled it in for December, and I thought I was going to be able to make it, but then I moved into my house here, and things were just chaotic. And then putting together my gym took forever, so we've had to push it. And I don't know. I'd have to reconnect with him. You've talked about how you ran the original Power Muscle Burn for the first 3 years of lifting. Any reason why you stopped running it? I think I was young, so I was about 21. I made the random decision to try push-pull legs. 3 on, 1 off. And then really I got into the era where when I got into the muscle and brawn era, that we got into all kinds of different things. So I pretty much used only 2 programs until the early 2000s. It was pretty much Power Muscle Burn. And then I used push-pull legs for about a year. And then what I got into was basically I stuck on push-pull legs. I would do chest and shoulders one day, and then back and biceps the next, and legs, and then maybe some arm work. So I was kind of on a P-PAL a little bit. Last call, guys. We got 4 questions. If I don't get any more questions, I will hop off, but get them in now. Is there such a thing as doing too many bulldozer? No. I mean, you have to adjust it based on how you feel, right? So if it's super intense, dial it down, or you can cycle week in and week out. It can be pretty intense doing a lot of rest pause work. So I think about half of your weekly work or weekly exercise, there's some exercise that just doesn't work well with. There's no downside if you like to do it, but it just has to make sense. Day 9 of Lent, giving up processed foods, noticing fatigue. The body will adjust. You're putting it through something that is different. So your body's going to adjust. You're probably eating lower carbs. your stomach's adjusting. You're probably going to feel a little bit fatigued. I don't know if you're on a cut, trying to maintain or whatever, but there's a chance your calories could be lower. The thermic effect of food could be increased. Your calories could be lower. There could be some hunger, less glycogen in the muscles. I would just watch calories closely. I'm debating on adding some low rep work every few weeks. Do you think doing a week of 3x8s? Yeah, I mean, you're a late intermediate. So that's the kind of the range where doing some rotation of intensity can make sense. You don't want to train heavy every week unless you're doing some sort of a powerlifting thing and you have a specific plan. I think that's a good way to do it. Squats don't grow my quads because I have bone misalignment. I can do them, but they are hard to do. Am I progressing? I'm progressing, but they're worth doing if you like to do them. I mean, there's enough quad exercises out there where you don't need to do them. Just do them if you like to do them. Don't feel pressure to do them. Big Mike M. Is it normal during a bulk when your weight and lifts are moving up to have to take long? Yeah, man, don't worry about resting between sets. That hard work, I take as long as I need to. Sometimes between squats and deadlift sets, I'm taking 7 minutes. Anything that facilitates training hard on the next set is okay. Thanks. I think I'm lower calories. Thank you for watching. Just maybe track calories for a little bit, see where you're at, and make adjustments. Big JJ. If we have a weak or bad day in the gym, do you still? Yeah, you always maximize every set. I don't care how things feel unless I feel injured, something's off. Then you have to adjust. But weak or bad days happen. They're part of the process. So don't overthink them. Maximize the sets you can and just drive on. And thanks for answering my question. That's it. That's it, guys. That's all the questions. I'm going to hang around for 1 or 2 seconds to see if any more questions come in. But please follow me on Instagram. I've been the Barman. Head over to superlivingtoday.com. Check out my apparel. I make $5 from it. I'm not trying to be an apparel company, but I got some pretty cool stuff over there. You want a phone consult? There's a phone consult tab. We can comb through everything without getting into coaching. There's a coaching tab at my website, superlivingtoday.com. And I got other services. I can do a custom workout design, all kinds of things. I have books, tons of PDFs, tons of workouts over there, workout ideas on everything, real books, training logs, cookbooks, you name it. I have a lot of content, a lot of things over there. So please check that out when you have time. Michael, I started doing bulldozer side laterals. Is a little cheating on the movement okay? Power generation is okay. On the bulldozer lateral, we're starting at the opposite side and we're generating power. That's not the same as sloppy cheating, if that makes sense. So power generation is certainly okay. Have a massive weekend. You guys do as well. And please follow my Instagram. I've been doing more Q&As over there in my Insta stories. Come on over, and we are out of here.
You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.